Hey there, anime fan, I'm talking about Sailor Moon again. This time it's the Heart Snatchers arc, aka Sailor Moon S. The arc begins with Rei getting her shining on, complete with visions of horrible screaming doom. And these fears are vindicated when a new enemy shows up, hell-bent on stealing hearts from the good folk of Tokyo Town.
Sadly, the leader of the Heart Snatchers is not Balaram.
But not to fear, because we're going into Sailor Scout overload with 4 more Senshi to beat back the forces of darkness. So let's begin there, starting with the dynamic duo of Sailor Uranus. Okay, clearly not getting through a whole review saying that, so Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune. These two are the most active of the Outer Guardians. In the first half of the arc, they're after 3 magic knickknacks hidden in 3 pure hearts. But more on those in a minute. Whenever the Heart Snatchers strike, those two are ready to swoop in like...
Say it.
vultures. Very heroic vultures. Who understand the meaning of sacrifice. Now, usually when someone's going on about the need to sacrifice, they're not typically the ones doing the sacrificing. You see those magical gewgaws concealed in the hearts of 3 poor saps? Taking them out is...
quite fatal.
But when it turns out that Uranus and Neptune have 2 out of the 3, both are willing to dive on that particular grenade. They're also none too happy about needing to off some poor little innocent in order to get their hands on their magical MacGuffins. Personality-wise, Uranus is very stoic, like Ridley Samus Tigress stoic. At least when she's on the job. When she's good old Amara Tano, she's the cool one, giving the other scouts rides in her Ferrari.
How the is a high school girl afford a darn Ferrari?
Good question. I got nothing. Her powers also kinda confuse me. They say she has wind powers, but her primary attack, which is just a standard magic nuke, is called World Shaking. Then there's Neptune. Design-wise, she's the best-looking scout. Something about that wavy turquoise hair and matching eyes. In terms of powers, she packs a planetary magic blast, just like her partner, as well as future-predicting powers, that she uses to keep her and Uranus one step ahead of the Heart Snatchers. Personality-wise, she's an artiste, both a gifted painter and violinist.
Classy.
She's also pretty good with kids. The problem with this duo is their stubborn refusal to cooperate with the Inner Guardians to fight the Heart Snatchers. There's a sort of hand-waving explanation about the Outer Guardians being somehow responsible for the Heart Snatcher invasion, but refusing to cooperate with the rest of the scouts just makes the problem worse. Not better. Sailor Pluto's back as well, and we get to see her in combat. She's not that different from the other Outer Senshi, and that's sort of a problem. At least the Inner Guardians have different powers from each other. But Pluto has a secondary skill, stopping time. The thing is, apparently this really pisses off somebody and she gets punished for it. But seriously, by who? Distinguished colleagues, bad news. Apparently Sailor Pluto has stopped time.
Oh no, she didn't.
Come, Sherman, let's go kick her. Right, Mr. Peabody. In civilian life, she goes by Trista Mayu. She shows up at plot-convenient times to solve problems, and she saves the lives of Neptune and Uranus twice. She's also still nice to Rini for some reason.
Well, no one's perfect, I suppose.
Now for my favorite Outer Guardian, Sailor Saturn. She's absolutely awesome. First off, she's the Sailor Scout of Death.
Okay, that's maybe just a little bit cool.
And she can, blow up planets and stuff. Not that we ever get to see her do that. Her real name's Hotaru Tomo, and even in civilian form, she can do some amazing stuff. First, she gets, freaky devil powers. And she can do the impossible by making Rini not teeth-grindingly irritating. I love her design in both regular and sailor form. The black bob haircut and dark color palette make her look like she stepped off the set of a Hammer horror movie. And her Senshi costume is really cool too. And she's got the best weapon of any scout. It's this scythe-like thing. In terms of personality, she's like a combination of Raven and Fluttershy. Quiet and introverted with a longing for friendship, but a very reasonable fear of her own dark side. She's also got a good heart. It's a bit hard to nail down how old she's supposed to be. I'd like to say about 14, but that would make her the same age as Serena, and she's clearly younger. Rini's maybe 8 or 9, so I think I'd put Hotaru at around 12. But that's subject to change because going all out with her powers makes her drop dead.
A real glass cannon, that one.
But it's okay, because like a phoenix, she's reborn as a baby. So Saturn's powers have a very long cooldown time. Now let's look at the returning characters, starting with Her Majesty Sailor Moon, Queen of Space. Now there's a lot of criticism you can level at Serena here. She's whiny, dumb, and relies on her boyfriend and gal pals to do all the real work. but I'd say in the Heart Snatchers arc, she's really at her best. She gets a new supercharged mode courtesy of this thing called the Purity Chalice, which is made from those pure heart treasures from sailors Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, all of whom are perfectly willing to sacrifice innocent lives to protect the Earth. And that's something that Serena's completely opposed to. And she's totally right on that one. The problem is that she has no plan on how to defeat the Heart Snatchers without hurting innocent people.
Doesn't inspire confidence, does she?
Well, her heart is definitely in the right place. The other scouts and Tuxedo Mask are basically jogging in place development-wise, so I guess it's Irini time. Whenever she's not with Hotaru, she's just as much of a little snot as ever, so why does everyone insist on being nice to her? But she has improved since her debut in the Black Moon arc, although that kinda is more to do with Hotaru than it actually is with her. Also, she's got a pretty sweet hat this season. Now onto the bad guys. This is where things get a little bit rocky. The Heart Snatchers are part of an organization called the Bureau of Bad Behavior.
Was Evil Incorporated already taken?
Okay, the Dark Kingdom has some legit fantasy cred behind it, and the name the Black Moon family is fairly mysterious, but the Bureau of Bad Behavior is just a little on the nose.
And stupid.
Rather than dark magic, the Bureau's big on mad science, and it's really cool to see how they make new Heart Snatchers and constantly upgrade things. They also have an underground lab that would make Albert Wesker jealous. The lab's connected to both a downtown high-rise and a mansion in the suburbs, with all kinds of secret exits hidden all over town. The acting leader of the organization is Dr. Tomo, Hotaro's dad. Well, that's not quite right. The guy in the driver's seat is Gervatoid. In his true form, he looks like a giant plant monster. His job is to produce the diamond pods that create the Heart Snatchers, and, various other assorted mad science. On his off time, he's your typical suburban dad. An all-round nice guy. He makes cocoa for his daughter and her friends, he gets snacks for the lab, and he plays Twister.
Yeah, it seems like an okay dude, but I just don't trust a man with a pentagram for an eye.
Doc's actually a pretty cool antagonist. He's very Jekyll and Hyde, with a surprisingly menacing voice. Then there's his executive assistant, Kaori Knight. Her only real character trait of note is that she has a thing for the Doc. She's also the Heart Snatcher's first field commander, and the first one to get iced. But somehow she comes back with a stylish new Elvira outfit and all. I was sure that would somehow be a plot point, but no, she just gets taken out by her own side near the end.
Not too loyal, are they?
Yeah, that's a thing with the Heart Snatchers. Either they get killed by their own, or they die when their own plans backfire. Only Gervatoid and one other lieutenant get taken out by the scouts directly. Next, the Heart Snatchers turn to an elite force of deadly interns to deal with the Sailor Scouts. This group is called the Witches 5, and the first one is Eugil. She's fun. She comes armed with an arsenal of deadly gadgets like a flamethrower and a special gun for blasting the pure heart crystals out of her victims. And she tools around town in an Ecto-1 ripoff, which is neat. Too bad poor Eugil meets her end in the thing when the next witch, Mamet, cuts her brake lines. Mamet's tactics for selecting new Heart Snatch victims are unconventional. Basically, she just targets whatever hunky guy catches her attention. They actually try and humanize her a lot, showing that she has ambitions outside of heart snatching, like being an actress/singer.
So these aren't ambitions, so much as delusions.
Mamet bites it when she tries to enter the Matrix or something, and witch number 3, Tululu, pulls the plug.
And if you die in the Matrix...
Tululu's a low-rent poison ivy, and it really makes you appreciate the skill of Dr. Pamela Isley, because she never got eaten by one of her own plants. Next is Beirut, who fights using futuristic technology and computers. She's got the personality of a porcupine, but her costume's neat, even if she looks like a Lady Gaga backup dancer. Finally, there's Cyprin, who's got a Tomax Zaymot thing going on with her sister, Perol. And like her more recent predecessors, the Scouts curb stomp her in one episode. Now on to the big shot, Mistress 9, the Sovereign of Silence. She spends most of her time hanging out in Hotaru's head, only popping out to harass people and chew out the Doc. When we finally do see her, she's kinda neat. Her primary modes of attack are smacking folks around telekinetically, and using her totally banging hair to tie up her enemies. Seriously, it's like Shinoa shampooed with industrial-grade volumizer. I'm a little confused on her appearance. I can't tell if she's supposed to be an older version of Hotaru or what. She's actually at her best when she's just possessing Hotaru. The way she just sits there like a creepy doll, talking about how she wants to devour all the pure hearts in sight. Lastly, the biggest bad guy is Pharaoh 90. Now this is the closest that Sailor Moon has ever gotten to crossing over with the Cthulhu mythos. Because Pharaoh 90 is a big, indescribable cosmic terror, with motives unfathomable to my squishy little mind. He, she, it, they want to destroy the Earth because, I don't know. Let's just say it's Nyarlathotep. and that somehow explains everything. Finally, let's look at the only real new civilian in the Heart Snatchers arc, Dr. Tomo. The real Dr. Tomo. He's like the most sympathetic guy. So he's working at the Black Mesa reactor one day, when bam, evil alien invasion, and he and his daughter are about to get turned extra crispy by an approaching fire. So he cuts a deal with Jervatoid to save her. Then at the end, when all he can do is just hobble around, he's still trying to save Hotaru. And his ending is absolutely fantastic. It's so sweet and the perfect way to end the arc. Now don't forget to check out part 2 of my Heart Snatchers arc review. And if you're interested in more reviews of anime, movies, comic books, or video games, check out my channel on YouTube at StupidPrivate913. Thanks for watching.
Hey kids, today's show is brought to you by the letter 4 and the number potato! I'm a stupid private.